Yeah? Here we go. Ruthless Politics, episode number 6. You're getting 2 episodes in less than a week. I am Treez, here with
Kid Chronic.
And you are tuned in to the ruthlessly bold and unpredictable politics and current events podcast, rising up the charts. Folks, if you like the podcast, by the way, make sure to leave a review or leave us a star or a thumbs up or whatever you got to do. That helps us tremendously. So if you like the show, any feedback is appreciated.
And follow us on YouTube. We want to build those YouTube followers, everyone.
Absolutely. So yeah, you get to see everything's broken down in clips and the full episode. So if you're listening to the podcast, we appreciate that. But if you also want to see a couple of very, very, very handsome devils, you get to do that as well. And you go to YouTube and
lucky you.
Oh my God, it's like last time. It's an orgasmic experience. We are gonna hit a bunch of topics this week. We're gonna talk about how much Trump loves the city of Baltimore.
Oh, he loves it.
He loves
it real hard.
Actually, he really hates fucking Baltimore.
Do you think he even has been to Baltimore?
No.
Really? In any significant way?
No, I don't think he ever thought of putting a property there. We're going to talk about the big Fortnite winner. And by the way, how do you pronounce it? Is it Bugha? His name is Bugha. His name on there. Is it Bugha?
I'm not sure how you pronounce the Fortnite name. I thought the winner's
Probably
name was
doesn't even
Kyle
matter.
Giersdorf.
Yes, Kyle Giersdorf, a German fella, which only makes sense, by the way, that he's so inclined with the gun. And we're going to talk about the 2 American boys that murdered an Italian police officer, if you can believe it. How they did that, we're going to get into. And we'll touch on the CNN debates. They are tonight and tomorrow. We went over those last week, but we'll talk a little bit more. There's been a little bit more news about that. So why don't we just jump in right off the bat? And before we discuss this, and I throw this over to you, Kid Chronic, let me read what touched this whole thing off, which is the Trump tweets. Like he did it like basically 3 of these. And it said, Representative Elijah Cummings has been a brutal bully, shouting and screaming at the great men and women of Border Patrol about conditions at the southern border, when actually his Baltimore district is far worse, Caps, and more dangerous. His district is considered the worst in the USA. He continues on to say, as proven last week during a congressional tour, the border is clean, efficient, and well run, just very crowded. Cummings district is a disgusting rat and rodent infested mess. If he spends more time in Baltimore, maybe he could clean up this very dangerous and filthy place. And then the final one was, why is so much money sent to Elijah Cummings district when it's considered the worst run and most dangerous anywhere in the United States? No human being would want to live there. Where is all the money going? How much is stolen? Investigate this corrupt mess immediately. Is this racist?
It's not racist. I don't think it's racist per se.
It's nasty.
During all of that, when it was going live and hearing it now, my main question is just, but why?
Right.
I don't understand what Trump gains from this because, so he throws everything against the wall. He accuses them of basically, taking money. He accuses them of, running the district poorly. He accuses him of basically not being there and taking care of the district and just focusing on stuff in Washington, more national politics stuff like his investigations into him. And
sits on a lot of committees.
Yeah, so he just throws everything against the wall. And I don't understand the tactic because obviously it turns everyone in Baltimore against him, right? And then it also fuels a whole news cycle for what's been going on over a week now. And Elijah Cummings seems like, to me, a fairly decent human being. He seems like a fair person. I think it really just seems that he's investigating Trump. Trump doesn't like it, so Trump wants to throw everything against him to say, hey, back off.
So he is a lead Democrat. So anything that's going to go against any Republicans or Trump, he's going to be at the head of. So that is true. Number one, I don't think he gets along with him. He seems to be very well respected by many. So not a lot of people shit on Elijah Cummings. However, let's talk about Baltimore and why Trump said this. I don't believe it's racist either, but I do agree with you. I'm not sure why your vitriol of Elijah Cummings gives you the right to shit on the whole city and the people and what's going on there. And again, this is why he's childish.
Quickly, let me add in, too, don't forget, he's the president of Baltimore. So Elijah Cummings represents Baltimore, but he represents Baltimore, too. So, I mean, the Baltimore, he's been president for 4 years. He could have done something to help Baltimore.
Well, here's the other thing. There's a lot of Baltimores. We got a problem in this country. Inner cities are a problem. Baltimore is just probably the most glaring example. I did some research yesterday, and I want to shoot a few of these out to you. This is kind of sad and scary, and this is what Baltimore has to get in perspective. And by the way, St. Louis is probably running neck and neck with Baltimore. So let's keep this in mind, that this is not just a Baltimore problem. This is a Oakland problem. This is a Stockton, California problem, St. Louis problem, many, many other cities. Take a listen to these stats. And by the way, if they're find toilet paper because you're going to shit yourself. The overall crime rate in Baltimore is 153% higher than the nation average. Very high. You have a 1 in 15 chance of being the victim of a crime in Baltimore. In the last 4 years, there have been 300 plus homicides. Only Chicago is worse, and Chicago actually has a considerably higher population, so very violent. 22% poverty level, 65% children born to single parents. In 2017, a third of high school students had a zero. A third of high school students had a zero in math proficiency. If Baltimore were listed as a country, it would have the 4th highest murder rate in the world. Did you watch The Wire on HBO? They made a whole show about the crime scene in Baltimore. Like, they made a fucking show that was like 7 seasons about it. But this was also interesting about their politics. The last mayor who stepped down, by the way, on camera, talked about when she was touring the city about all the stinky rats and the smelly animals. So they obviously have a problem there that they weren't taking care of. Their own mayor's on camera talking about that.
Well, that's where Trump gets it from. He mastered incorporating little pieces of the truth. That's why he's so good at lying. Yeah.
And then just to wrap this up, these are things I definitely did not know. USA Today has them as number 3 most dangerous city in the country of 25. Forbes has them as number 7. Not sure how they have a disparity. Here's their politics, though. And this is, I think, where he's talked about this before about black leadership letting down their black constituents. Baltimore. Now, but remember, Baltimore, you're a historical guy. This is one of the crown cities. It's 13 colonies. This is a big city.
It's an important city for America. Okay, a little bit forgotten at times, for sure.
Absolutely. So it should have a higher standing, like a Philadelphia. By the way, another shithole. I'm so sorry to say.
You're making a lot of fans today.
Go Eagles. Okay, it's been all Democrats for 50 years since they had a Republican mayor. 50 years plus Democratic leadership. The last Republican was in 63 to 67 term. There have been 5 Republicans total since 1900 in Baltimore, so a very Democratic city. Clarence Burns was the first black mayor. It was in 1987, so think about that. All Dems, but all white people. The first black mayor was 87 in Baltimore. That's pretty interesting.
That's progressive.
Yeah. They've been all black since, men and women both, except for Martin O'Malley, who, by the way, ran for president during the Hillary run against Trump. Martin O'Malley was there from 99 to 07. Baltimore had 2 police commissioners serve prison terms. One of them this year, he just went in March, Darrell D'Souza, 10 months for tax fraud. And then Ed Norris, who also was a superintendent of Maryland State Police, convicted of a felony, and also went to prison. What is going on in this wonderful city? I mean, forget what Trump said.
Well, I think that all big cities have their challenges. America's changing, and I think that big cities are big. There's a lot of stuff going on. You have new development. You have people moving there. You have people that were living there before that are in low-income housing, and now a skyscraper wants to take that housing, and those people are essentially displaced. So there's problems with big cities. But I'll tell you what, given me the choice, I'd rather live in a big city. So take all the problems you want. I would rather live in a big city over the country. And I think that part of the problems that big cities have is because people are pouring out of the country into the big cities. Here's some interesting things that I know about Baltimore that I checked out. Check this one out. Okay. In Baltimore, they call it the city of neighborhoods, and there's 600,000 residents there. And the people there actually make more per capita than a lot of other cities. So they're living pretty well in Baltimore. Here's some of the famous residents of Baltimore. Frederick Douglass, F. Scott Fitzgerald, Upton Sinclair, Tom Clancy, W.E. Du Bois, Edgar Allan Poe, Thurgood Marshall, Nancy Pelosi, Ben Carson. All pretty powerful people. All people have a place in history. So there's a lot of history around Baltimore, too. So that's why I don't understand. I understand that Baltimore has its problems like a lot of cities, maybe more than a lot of cities. But I don't understand the attack on Baltimore because Baltimore is America.
It was an attack on Elijah Cummings. And what Trump did is what Trump does is he doesn't give a fuck. And he insulted. He cut you below the knees. So he insulted your whole city and in a way is trying to say, one thing he shed a light on is that this is a lot of these other cities have been let down. And that list that you just gave shows the prominence of this city. And shame on its leadership, regardless of who it is. And like many of these big cities, shame on them for letting this happen. I can tell you this, my friend. When you go around to other countries, their big cities are much better represented. If their airports, their train stations, Tokyo doesn't have shitholes like we do. You know what I mean? Like Japan's biggest, best cities.
Isn't the president a builder? Isn't that what they said?
100%.
Give us a builder, and we're going to do infrastructure, and we're going to build all the bridges.
We've
back
had
up,
zero
and
infrastructure in 4
stuff.
years.
Yeah, and we
By
haven't
the way,
had that.
that's a sadness for the country.
I don't know, too. Can the cities blame the national government for, basically not handing out any money for infrastructure whatsoever? I don't understand what a lot of the problems are in cities in America. And I'm very biased because we live in South Florida, so our cities are funded by tourism. So our cities are very nice.
They thrive differently.
Yeah, so
absolutely.
it's weird. I don't understand really what's going wrong in a Baltimore, so to speak.
It's not just Baltimore's fault. Number one, infrastructure was a big deal in Trump's running. There's obviously been no help, and it's not even on the table. He's ducking and weaving all this other shit, and you're right. They let us down. That's been a problem for 50 plus years under Obama, under Clinton, under Bush. It's money you don't want to spend. I always make the comparison. Nobody wants to redo the fucking Corning fabric wear, whatever.
I don't understand that
in their attic.
I would think that would be so attractive to a president. Put your name on some buildings, get yourself some streets.
We need new train
Go out
rails.
there, build all that stuff,
bridges.
and be like the infrastructure president. I don't understand why they
Nobody's
all sell
done
out on that. I really don't.
It's not sexy.
If I ran for president, what I would say is, the only thing I'm going to focus on, I don't care about your social issues. I'm only going to do infrastructure. We're not going to talk about abortion for 8 years if I'm president. We're going to build. That's what somebody should do.
You're absolutely right. And I think there was a thought that Trump was that guy. We're seeing that that's not the case. And again, I don't think it's his fault. I think this is why people hate politicians. The stagnation of the fact that you have not fixed this country. While Abu Dhabi looks like it looks like in the United Arab Emirates, and Tokyo looks like it looks like, and Beijing had its problems, whatever. But we have like serious problem cities. And things are very behind when we're supposed to be the bellwether.
Yeah, we invent the internet, but then we have slow internet speeds compared to other countries.
There's no high-speed train here.
Part of the problem, too, though, is Americans think America is the best still. And
Right.
America is the best country. Best place to live, no doubt about it. Best upward mobility, probably still, I'd say that. But on certain little items that Americans should care about, they don't dig deep enough. So they don't know that their health care is ranked poorly. They don't know that their internet is ranked poorly. And I think that really hurts America. The fact that the voting public is just not quite as engaged as they need to be.
I think what America leads in is most freedoms, the most food you can eat and cars you can buy and movies you can rent and people to fuck on Tinder and just.
If you want to bring a machine gun to a garlic festival, this is your country.
Absolutely. I always joke, like, can you believe that there's never been a mass shooting at Disney World or Disneyland? And I'm not trying to put that in anyone's head.
Now it's going to happen.
Well,
That's
right.
out there in the
I just
cipher
jinxed
now.
it. I'm so sorry, Disney. No, but isn't it odd that in all of our years, because like you're right, anybody can go and shoot anybody in any public place. You can go to any place and do that. I'm surprised it doesn't happen more than it does, like you said. Sorry, happened at the Garlic Festival, but I'm surprised it doesn't happen at more malls or whatever. Disney World's avoided this in its entirety. How is that even possible? Why is Disney World is there a shield around Disney World?
Well, I'll tell you why. Disney World has a lot of money. They have high security.
But they're not checking for guns.
But they're smart, too. Disney World is smart. It's a corporation, right? So they've probably put a lot of money and research into making sure that this never happens at Disney. Because you know why? If this happens at Disney, they lose hundreds of millions.
Oh, my God.
So they've put multiple millions of dollars into every scenario. Will that finally protect them? I don't know. But also, the street shooter survives on the fact that the streets are big. He only needs one good idea. One concert, one garlic festival, one school. I mean, there's so many creative ways that they can, inflict harm on an open society like ours.
I think also there's no way of getting out. Once you're in Disney World, you're in Disney World. And if you're doing it in the public,
train
you
you
can get
in?
out.
I haven't been in a while, but you have to transition you in. You don't just walk in the gates like Wally World. You kind of ride a train or something to get in there.
I'm not sure. It's been a long time for me as well. Do you know about that? How
they train or boat you in.
Yeah. Okay.
See, Jesse podcast knows.
But the interesting is, on the same token, so that's definitely one deterrent. But they are not. There's no pat downs. There's no wands. They're trusting people that they're not coming there with guns.
They're
and
probably
guess what? Nobody
X-raying
is.
you on the way in. Yeah, you're going through some high-tech stuff. They're videoing you. They're doing everything. Like a casino.
Yeah,
Picture a casino for kids.
But they do it very down low. I'm going to tell you a quick side note about Disney, real fast. So, Tony, you met a close buddy of mine, or used to be, had a brother that was a kleptomaniac and a big Disney nut at the same time. And he went to the one of the stores there, and he stole a furry doll or whatever. And this is how Disney operates. I found it so interesting, goes in line with what we're talking about. They let him steal the doll. He walks out. He thinks he got away with it, whatever. And then two people, not police, just Disney employees, walk with him, and they just say, they talk to him like, we're not making a scene. You're going to walk with us to this office. We know you stole it. We're going to take care of everything, this and that, whatever. And it was like they didn't even want anyone to know what happened and just quietly went off into an office and then dealt with the problem. That's how meticulous they are. They don't want
That's impressive.
any ruffling of the feathers.
Yeah, that's impressive. Real quick, though, before we get off of Baltimore, other famous people from Baltimore. Ready? David Hasselhoff.
Awesome.
Jada Pinkett Smith.
Okay.
Babe Ruth.
There you go. Listen,
Baltimore is a
city,
historic, famous city.
Absolutely. You're talking about one of the original, this is the founding cities, New York City and Philadelphia and Baltimore. This is the original 13 colonies. This is where everything started for this country. If you have any American pride, I mean, that's what makes this heartbreaking, because this shouldn't have happened.
Both of these arguments, I think, exist in the same thing. One, Baltimore should be doing way better. What is the problem? Elijah Cummings is in his 13th year as a
How do
Congress
you
member
grade
representing
this guy and
so
what
that's
his
a
city
long
does?
time. It's a long time, but he is very well respected. And then two, Trump shouldn't be attacking one of our core cities, and just in whole like that. It just doesn't make any political sense.
It was an immature
I don't care what
move.
side you're
It was
on.
an immature
There has to
move.
be Republicans living in Baltimore. There has to be. I'm sure.
Well, it's also something like, it's also proving that this guy really is a troll. All jokes aside, he is trolling. He loves the internet like that. This guy may have ghost accounts on Reddit and on 4chan, and we don't even fucking know. This guy loves to get under people's skin and to attack Baltimore indirectly because of Elijah Cummings.
Fight too. If you will go to the bottom, and we've talked about this a lot with Trump, if you have nothing to lose and you'll go all the way to the bottom and you'll just swing, you're a very powerful person. And then imagine that person is in the White House. So when he slings trash on the internet, like, hey, the FBI is going to investigate you. Hey, you're stealing money. These things carry huge weight, and huge departments and media organizations start looking into all these things. So it's just fascinating to see somebody so loose on the Twitter who holds so much power.
On a side note, Baltimore's deputy, they just named a new deputy police commissioner. He was mugged at gunpoint with his wife on July 22nd.
Well, if you look at him, he looks very muggable.
Well, he's very muggable. You can tell he looks like Alfred E. Newman.
Yeah. He might grow up to be Batman.
Yeah, his name is Daniel Murphy. And just imagine that. The deputy police commissioner robbed at gunpoint in Baltimore. Hey, guys, you're doing a great job in that city. Keep it up.
At what point,
Rats
too,
aside.
is it the people? Like, people of Baltimore, start treating your neighbors better. What are you guys robbing each other for? Like, take a little pride in your area.
Well, I'm not even going to get into it, but then there's a video where they beat this guy up in the street, and it's all making the rounds, and it's a racial incident. I'll just say that. And the guy getting beat up is white. I'll just say that. And the people beating the shit out of him are black, and I'll just say
I'm
that.
not going to get into that. White people beat up black people all the time. Black people beat up white people all the time.
Man, it's just tough. This guy really gets it from two. He's an old man. He's like frail and walking in the street. It's very tough to watch. But yeah, absolutely. This goes all ways, and we're just not friendly to each other, folks. One thing that is friendly, though, is Fortnite. It's a friendly way to kill each other. And it's done in these color. I'm not a big Fortnite fan. I'm like Kid Chronic, talk about this and tell you a little bit about what just happened here. But huge tournament. Fortnite is this magically colorful world of murder and skill, and boy, it makes a shitload of money. There was just a tournament. What happened here with this Fortnite?
Okay, so they had the Fortnite basically World Cup, and the kid who won it, he won like $3 million.
He
got a big World Cup trophy. But also, what's interesting is like the top 5 or 10 people. I mean, they all won mega money. There was kids that came in 5th and won millions of dollars. Every kid that participated, and there was a shit ton of them in this World Cup, got at least $50,000. So you could have been in the tournament, not got a single kill, and you won $50,000.
I saw the final 100 participants, and I don't know what this started as, all got $55,000. So everyone got a payout for making it as far as they did. Absolutely.
And it was watched by over 1 million people online. So we're talking about a digital tournament, a video game tournament that people didn't have TV access to, but still turned out in over 1 million to watch online.
His name was Kyle Giersdorf.
I pronounced it as Giersdorf.
Giersdorf. I think that's right. He's 16 years old, correct?
And now he's rich.
His name, his Fortnite name, if you ever want to make friends with him,
he's getting a new bicycle for high school.
Absolutely. Is Bugha, Bugha. Beat out 99 other kids to win the $3 million. Now, folks, to put this in perspective, this $3 million and what Fortnite is really pulling in, and I'm gonna go off on a little rant here about the U.S. women's soccer pay because it ties directly to this. I feel it's all about what do you generate, what is the interest level. So Kid Chronic was just talking about how many people watch this fucking tournament that just wanted to watch these kids play. He actually made more. He made $3,025,900. Tiger Woods, let this sink in, people. I don't think you understand this. Tiger Woods just recently won the 2019 Masters. The Masters is the one with the green jacket. That's the bellwether of the whole fucking thing. He won $2 million for that. I repeat, he won $2 million.
Well, that's because golf sucks.
That's because golf, to kid crying, golf sucks.
Golf's boring.
The PGA.
Can you throw a grenade in golf?
You absolutely cannot. You can throw your club if you
Can
get
you
pissed off
blow
enough.
up a house that someone's hiding in golf?
Apparently not.
No. Can you shoot someone with a rocket launcher in golf? Can you parachute in golf? Can you fly a plane? Nope.
I don't think you can do anything.
I'm just getting off the.
Can you hit a hole in one in Fortnite?
Yes, actually you can. You
Ooh.
can hit a hole in one in
Right?
Fortnite.
There's golf in Fortnite.
Okay, so let me take this over here for a little second.
Yeah,
So here's
you're
what's
a
great about
Fortnite player,
here's what's
so
great
let
about
people know.
Fortnite, everybody. Here's what's great about it.
Tell us.
This video game company didn't have much success. They had 3 or 4 different games. They combined them into one giant game. And as the combination came, basically what it ended up being is 100 people ride a bus, a battle bus, and then they parachute into a continent. The continent has the same things on it, but they move around all the time. And then the 100 people proceed to kill each other, and the last man standing wins Battle Royale. This kid, he won the final Battle Royale, and he won this money. So it's really fun. You log on online, you can have your friends, you can have strangers, anybody, 100 people, real life people, not fake video game things, real life people drop onto this continent and proceed to kill each other. And there's a lot of space on the continent, so you can snipe, get weapons, do all the things you would expect. Here's where it got good. So the game became so popular so fast. They gave it. This is a genius. They gave it away free. Free on PlayStation, free on Xbox, free on Nintendo, free on everything. Free on your phone, free on your laptop. And since it was free, everybody jumped on. Everybody started using it, and they made their money selling clothes and little trinkets to the kids who want their player to look cool. What ended up happening is they made so much money and the game got so successful, they've become like a Facebook or a Google. They've run away with the technology. So they've had so much time to develop and they have so much money for developers that they've made the world totally interactive. So you can do just about anything. And I mean anything on this game. You can, if you see a plane, you can fly it. If you see a house, you can go into it. If you see a window, you can smash it. If you want to burn something, anything that you can think of, you can do. Let me give you an example. I saw somebody on this game, house full of people that he wants to kill in front of him. They're all shooting at him. He takes C4 that he's picked up in the game, puts it in a shopping cart that he finds, kicks the shopping cart into the house, blows up the C4, blows everybody that's in the house. That's very creative. The game creators couldn't have thought of that possibility of him doing that, but they've made the game so in-depth now that these amazing things are possible, and then they've given you the ability to share it. So now you can do this amazing thing in the game, and you can share it right to Facebook, right to Twitter, and that is the secret of Fortnite.
Yeah, people are definitely, they post their games, people watch them, they learn from them. Here's what
and the
you have to
graphics are
understand.
so good, it's actually good entertainment.
The video game market brought in $131 billion in 2018. It's expected to bring in $300 billion in 2025. So this is now going back to the women's soccer team. This is exactly why you don't get paid the same as much as the men. And just to put this in perspective, my friend, I just pulled this up earlier when I was looking up that he won the $3 million. Do you know that the entire purse for that FIFA World Cup women's purse, the entire purse was $30 million for everybody? Okay, 7% of what the men got. The men is like $400 million. The women, a lot of people don't know the actual figure of what the USA women got. They got $4 million to split. So just so you know, this boy who played Fortnite made more than every single women's soccer player for winning that. And that perspective is because more people care about Fortnite. Period, right? That's it.
Well, and the video game companies that are behind it have a lot of money. More people are involved. You
Because
can actually
people are
play.
buying shit.
Yeah, I can't go play in the Women's World Cup, but I can play Fortnite. You know, so I mean, you can actually
Absolutely.
participate. So that's a huge thing too. I mean, they've had concerts
It
at
is what it
Fortnite
is.
that millions of people have turned out to watch, like
Right.
digital concerts.
It generates interest. Whatever
generates
it is,
interest and
this
it
generates
income.
more
And
interest.
let me just tell you this. Here's the deal, guys. Just read the writing on the wall. Real sports are going the way of the dodo compared to digital sports. This is just the beginning. 100 on 100 is just the beginning. And there's going to be video games in the future that are 3,000 versus 3,000, that maybe the entire United States plays against the entire Russia in a video game that
absolutely.
takes 10 days.
Well,
and you're up there's what this is going to go into as the servers get bigger, as the speed gets up, the amount of people that can play, the high-tech interactions that are going to go on are just going to be unbelievable.
Well, to take it a
compared
step
to what we're doing
further,
right now.
I think Fortnite is the precursor to exactly what you're saying. Virtual reality and augmented reality, you'll be in these things really now shooting at people in your own fake world. It could be Russians, it could be Cubans, whatever, however they're going to set the game up. You're absolutely right. You're going to be in real combat, fake combat, but it's going to look real. Fortnite is the precursor to what augmented reality, exactly what you said. The scary part about all of these augmented reality games is going to be is you're never going to want to come out. Your real life will suffer as a result because people get so
There's
addicted.
some movies about that.
It's 100% true. You'll forget about your kids.
Pollute the environment so bad that people don't want to live in the real world, and they wake up and they just log on to virtual reality and they work there and they play there. And that's
Why
their
wouldn't
whole
you?
Life.
If you could be in a virtual reality harem full of beautiful women,
you can have the girl
moment,
you want.
Fortnite,
you can have the job you want. You can have the house you want.
It's 100% coming. And the proof is how we're already on a small level, whether it was The Sims, Second Life, Fortnite, people like the skins that they design their things with. It's just a matter of time. And I fully believe that it'll be interactive warfare, like you're saying. No one really dies. It's sure going to be fucking fun, though, playing like you do.
There will be people that spend an awful lot of their lives online in the future. There's no doubt about that. I think there'll be a little bit of a rebellion to that, too. And there's going to kind of be, both sides will still exist.
It's going to be so good, though.
Yeah, like for this kid, just talk about his life. He's 16. He just won $3 million playing video games. Is anybody in his life going to tear that kid off of Fortnite for the rest of his life? Hell no. So he's going to spend a shitload of time on Fortnite.
The amount of publicity this also got, folks, these kids, I tell you what, if you didn't think kids were outside playing and going on bikes, fucking forget it. That's over. All these kids now are training. Now the joke is like, hey, mom and dad, I'm training. I'm not playing video games. There's a career in this for some. Not everyone's as good as others, no matter how much you play. Obviously, you can play a shitload of basketball, but some people are just never going to be as good as others, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So, a lot of kids will try to go pro. None of them will make it. That's just the reality of any pro sports. But here's what's interesting. The training part is fascinating. The kids are getting training. These kids are learning tactical skills that I guess will hopefully never use in the real world. But it is interesting that these kids are on Fortnite is a very tactical game. You can fight with a team. You can fight on your own. It's very realistic how quickly you die. And so there's a lot of tactics, just hiding, moving around things, all of that kind of military stuff. And so, it's interesting to say about a culture that's, training kids tactically as, 6 years old, 10 years old.
I remember they were talking about Call of Duty, some of these other RPGs that are much more military geared. And they actually recruit some of the best of these for military exercise. Like you said, wars are going to be fought on screens.
They're going to be like, hey, Fortnite, tramp, we need you over here to fly the drone this week.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I could totally see that. I mean, if you were the U.S. military, why would you not be looking at gamers?
We're going to go to a break. We're going to wrap up Fortnite right here. Keep in mind, he won $3 million. The whole fucking women's FIFA tournament was $30 million. Nobody cares.
They threw no grenades.
Nobody cares.
Ruthless Politics would like to thank all of our badass sponsors. SFL Media, media for the modern world. Check them out at sfl.media. Video God, the best viral video site online. Check them out at videogod.com. Pure Clear Hemp, premium CBD isolate. Check that out at pureclearhemp.com. And Tall Circuit Technology, home automation experts. Of course, our show's hosted by Space Coast Podcast, and a special thanks to them.
You're listening to Space Coast Podcast, home of the greatest podcasts on the Space Coast. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor or having your own show, email us at spacecoastpodcast@hotmail.com.
Space Coast Podcast.
Talk hard! Steven,
Why, yes, Christopher.
what are you doing?
I am scribing down some ideas for the next podcast of the Black Dog Confessional.
Oh, Mitzi had spoke of that. She said it is rather wonderful.
Well, we tried to succeed, Christopher. We tried to succeed. We're talking about all the proper etiquette techniques that we can this week.
Do you think everyone is listening?
I definitely believe so, Christopher.
Well, if they're not, they better get on their game!
All right, folks, we're back on the air.
Episode 6, Ruthless Politics.
Episode number 6, Kid Chronic and Treez, and we went over Baltimore, we went over Fortnite, and now we're going to talk about something very sensational. There seems to be something about Americans killing Italians, and
who was the last famous one to do it? Amanda Knox.
Amanda Knox,
and that
she
was hot.
Did
she do it? I felt like she did it.
A lot of people think
but
she
got
did,
off.
But she got off.
Yeah.
It was well,
they let her out. I mean, she did some time.
There's a school of thought that the Italians just kind of have it in for some of these people.
They're like, you know what? We need another American to beat up in our jails. I don't know about that theory.
It's
because there's dead people. It's not like they pick these people up and they're like, oh look, we found a bag of coke on you. I mean, there's a body.
Yeah, somebody died here. So here's the thing: you have 2 young American boys. Finnegan Lee Elder. I mean, some interesting names here. First of all, Finnegan. I love that name. Irish name, I guess.
Sounds like a great bar.
Yeah, Finnegan Lee Elders. And the other boy was Gabriel Natale-Hjorth. So it seems like that was like a Spanish, maybe Finnish name or something like that. But anyways, so these 2 boys, they have family, by the way. They're not there themselves. They have family that are vacationing in Italy. And they decide they're going to go out and party and they want to get some coke. And what winds up happening is that the coke dealer robs them. And anybody who has ever, dabbled in any of this should know you got to give it the test before you buy it. I mean, you just don't buy without giving it a test. And I mean that for anything from Best Buy to test driving a car, if you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. Wink, wink. So they didn't do that. They got ripped off. I think they said it was crushed up aspirin, whatever. They go back to set up with the guy. They steal the guy. They bum rush the guy. They steal his phone, his ID, some shit like that. And then the drug dealer, who apparently is a CI in Italy, calls his cop friend and arranges a rendezvous to meet up with these guys. These guys are none the wiser that there's going to be a cop there. And then a tussle ensues. They're claiming it was self-defense, that they were being choked or whatever. I don't quite know. If you can't kill somebody still over that. Stabbed the cop 11 times. Killed this guy. Newlywed, by the way. I know that makes it all the more sad for everybody.
Looked like a nice cop.
He did look like
a nice cop.
Had
normal life. Yeah, he didn't deserve to die.
Yeah, no one deserves to die. So what is going on here? And there's a lot of people think this is kind of fishy. They found the knife in the hotel room. Should anybody be killing anybody over a bag of coke?
Well, obviously, no. No one should kill anybody for any fucking reason ever.
All right.
But,
very good.
I mean, let's just say that
I set you up for that. You passed.
Yeah, right
so
off
very
the top.
Good. Very good.
Okay, here's the deal, though. There is a history of weird shit with Italian and Americans and murder. There seems to be a fascination with it now. It's like a whole thing. What frustrates me is Americans expecting the Italian justice system to work like the American justice system. It doesn't. Something always happens to an American overseas, and they're like, you need to treat them like our justice system would. And the other countries are like, no, fuck you. We have our own justice system. Just because there's an American here, you're not going to get special treatment. And they're probably right about that. Now, these 2 fucking kids, I guess, like, you're coked up, right? You're all fucking wound up. You're on this drug. You get ripped off. You get frustrated. You grab your knife. You go back and stab them. That's really bizarre behavior for young kids on vacation with their families. What the fuck are these kids thinking? Oddly enough,
really
I saw
like
this.
The party.
Weird part. Kid gets 7-inch knife, and some of the stab wounds, the blade was in all the way. So this little kid stabbed the shit out of this guy, number 1. And number 2, he brought the knife from America.
Yes,
Why the hell did you bring a 7-inch knife from America to Italy? And how does that get through customs? I don't understand any of that.
Doesn't make sense.
And this whole thing is just completely bizarre. But I think that what is definite is that these guys killed this guy. And he may have been involved in questionable police antics, but didn't deserve to die.
What I think is interesting also is there's a photo being circulated around of one of these boys blindfolded. And I'm thinking, and people are all up in arms about this. And I'm now, if this was my son, I'd probably be upset too. But I don't quite understand. Is this the shocking part about this whole thing? Is that they fucking blindfolded him? They're trying to scare him. They're fucking with him, of course.
Dude, have you ever watched Locked Up
theirs.
Abroad? If you get locked up abroad, shit gets fucking scary real quick. Dude, that blindfold looked comfortable. That chair looked comfortable compared to what I think other people have to deal with locked up in other countries.
This is true. I don't see why that was so shocking.
The kid stabbed a police officer. He's lucky. In America, imagine this. You're in Elijah Cummings' district.
There you go.
You stab a police officer.
Yeah.
They get a photo of you directly after stabbing a police officer. What do you think that person looks like? He's going to be
Oh, my
mauled
God.
by the police.
Oh, yeah, of course. And we know they do that. And that's something that if you're going to fuck with them or do stupid shit, that they kind of reserve the right to do. It's an unwritten thing, but we all know it. You're
It's
going
like
to get
fights
billy
in
clubbed.
hockey, right?
Yes.
Cops beating you up if you mess with the cops is like a hockey fight. Like we all know what happens. It's not really tasteful.
It's not going to be
but
fair.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Apparently, the elder is the main suspect in the murder. He's the one. Two guys didn't stab this guy. So
No, the other
kid's
kid is
go-
gonna. Yeah, in Italian law, if you're there for the murder, you're toast too. So this other kid just thinks he's in a fight, and now he's going away for fucking murder in another
Not
country.
good. Yeah, like, can you imagine? Like, yeah, there's a little tussle, and then he's just watching this guy getting fucking stabbed, and now he's gonna go down for that. They're both from the San Francisco area. They this elder graduated high school. He attends Santa Barbara City College. And now people are kind of shitting on them a little bit. You're seeing some people.
Is it normal for the police in Italy to sell fake cocaine? Or for CIs to sell fake cocaine and get the police involved in there? That whole part of it is sketchy.
Now that's interesting.
You know, if the kids had just taken the arrest for the fake cocaine, they probably would have had some legal case here to get out of this trouble, because the whole thing is fishy as hell. You know what I mean? But the fact that they've committed a murder, I mean, no one's going to give a shit about how they got to the murder. They murdered someone.
That is unfortunate, but if you didn't have Domino 1 and Domino 2 fall, then Domino 3 doesn't fall. So, yeah,
Yeah,
the
tell
setup,
that to the Italians.
yeah, the setup led to this this gentleman's
And then it's
death.
a cop, dude. He didn't kill they didn't kill like a hobo here. They killed a cop. They're fucked.
And I just
They're
want
in
to
a-
say his
that
name.
kid is going to be in jail for the rest of his life.
Yeah, his name was Sir Cielo Riga. Sir Cielo Riga, Brigadier. Apparently, the Finn family has issued a statement saying that they are shocked and dismayed by the accusations, but have not been able to communicate with their son since this all has gone down. So some people are thinking about that it's also not going to be handled
How does that work?
correctly.
You're like on vacation with your family, and you're like, what are you going to do today? Well, maybe we'll do a tour. Maybe we'll catch a museum. Oh, wait, little Johnny murdered someone.
Yeah. Isn't it funny? Like, while
What?
the rest of the family's at the Coliseum taking pictures, these two are landing coke and stabbing cops.
Yeah.
So a couple of wild childs. Yeah, apparently there's been some talk that these guys may have had some trouble back where they lived in San Francisco. May have also dealt dope over
It's
in the
not
United
normal
States.
to bring a knife from the United States to Italy. That's just weird in and of itself. Like in all the hijinks I did as a kid, and I was a horrible child. I didn't like tote knives around, and I didn't travel across oceans with knives in my pocket. The whole thing's just weird. If you carry a knife around in your pocket, chances are you're getting some sort of trouble.
Chances are you're gonna have some trouble. Yeah, why did you bring a fucking knife? And by the way, way to go, TSA. Good thing you found that kid's knife. You know what? Maybe if you found that kid's knife, this Italian cop would be alive. What a shame. And that's TSA for you, doing a great job. So, listen, that's an ongoing investigation, and anybody who's interested can keep looking up and following what's going to happen there. That is not over with. That's just getting ramped up, and it will be quite sensational over there in Italy. What is very sensational to you and me, and I think that this next story is going to be way more shocking than even this Italian cop getting killed, and way more upsetting because it's going to actually affect your life. So they found out that a shocking number of delivery drivers now, and I'm assuming this is now skyrocketed because of Grubhub and Uber Eats. You know what I mean?
Well,
like,
the story is going to make it skyrocket
yeah.
too.
The delivery drivers admit they're eating your food. The digital delivery business has become so big.
28%. So that's 1 of 4. And that's just the ones that admit it. So we're probably talking about a 50% clip that they're eating your food.
If they're eating your food, that means their hands are in your food. So let's talk about this. I'm less mad that you ate my French fry. I'm more mad that your hand was in my French fries.
Oh yeah, because you're a delivery driver. Your hand's not anywhere good. So
yeah,
I told
you
you
were just
when
jerking
we were
off.
going to talk about this. Yeah, that I grew up. My first real job, when
Tell us.
not mowing lawns, I was a pizza delivery boy in New York. And I can tell you that the delivery game is a lot like being a bartender or like a waiter. It's one of those tip jobs. You make good tips. You're in the streets. You're unsupervised. You're in your own car. So a lot of people are riding around with friends or smoking weed or buying and selling drugs on delivery. This is all very common. And I saw this all the time when I was a delivery driver when I was young, Literally every delivery driver sells weed. That's like the main way to, it's perfect. It goes hand in hand. You're driving around.
Subsidized income.
Yeah, exactly. So oddly enough, I was unaware that people would snack on people's food because I had been a delivery driver at pizza and Chinese. These are places where the delivery drivers are true delivery driver and their delivery businesses. So think about it. If you have a pizza in a box, that's usually in a pizza bag. So as a delivery driver, it's hard for me to get my hand into the pizza box and take something out. And then I also worked at a Chinese place where everything was kind of folded up nice, New York Chinese food, you know? Mm-hmm. So that also, Chinese food didn't lend itself to something that I would want to snack on driving. What I think has happened is Uber Eats. See, Uber Eats is going and they're picking out food that you would pick out yourself. Your Five Guys takeout, that's not protected. Those fries are open in a bag. Tell me a human being in America that can drive home without eating a Five Guys fry. Just tell me. Just tell me who that man is. So you know that he's eating some of your fries. Exactly. So when you get your Uber Eats
boneless
guy
chicken wings,
who's not a traditional driver and he's going to different places just picking out takeout food, he's going to eat it. The last thing too, when you work at a pizza place or a Chinese place, you eat for free there. So you've ate everything 1,000 times. You can just ask for free food. So the restaurant gives you food, so you have no reason to steal the food. When you're an Uber Eats driver, you're in the streets starving. So you're definitely going to start nibbling. So that's my thing. If you want to order food at home, order from a real delivery place, not that Uber Eats guy, because Muhammad on the way over is finger banging your fries.
Yeah, that
True story.
So scary to think about, you know what I mean? And then you're wondering why there's a big mayonnaise thing in the middle.
The worst thing that happened to me as a delivery driver, I will tell you this. So this is what does happen with your food is like crazy. So when you're a delivery driver, a lot of times you take a lot of deliveries. They'll pack your car up. You come back. They're not just like, here, take Bob's pizza to him. They're like, here, take these 50 fucking pizzas to 50 places. So I have had food on my seat. This is just one time where it fell over. And then the food kind of like hit the carpet of my car, and I just kind of pushed it back into the box and like shut it up and dropped it off at that house. I don't know what the fuck happened. Yeah, and so, you know, because I wasn't going to go back to my boss and be like, yo, I fucked this food up. I need more food. So I have done that, but I've never nibbled on it. So no matter where you order delivery from, you are taking a risk, man. You're putting your food in someone else's hands for, 20 minutes.
It's like it's something you just hit upon. First of all, for the longest time, the only delivery we had before all these services was pizza and Chinese. Like you said, I mean, that was pretty much where it ended. And it's very hard to get through all that shit. Maybe they could take some of your noodles that go in your soup or whatever, but that's about it. With these services now, they're all in the doggy to go styrofoam flip tops.
Yeah.
As you see. So now every one of these restaurants, from Buffalo Wild Wings to Fuddruckers to whoever the fuck, it's very easily accessible, like you said. So fries can go missing, and your Southwest egg roll now, one of those is gone. And you can't necessarily fault the driver because that may have happened in prep. So when something goes missing, it's not necessarily the driver's fault. It could have been the restaurant's fault.
Exactly. There's nobody who's getting Uber Eats that's getting full fries when they get there.
No.
Right? Everyone's getting like that 75% full fry package.
I imagine.
You know what else? This is the scary part, though. Okay, so we're all talking about, the 1 in 4 Uber driver who takes a little snack off the top, but we have to picture the full spectrum together, folks. There's an Uber driver out there who eats like a couple bites of everything. He's like the worst.
100%.
Imagine like the worst of the eater. Like the guy who takes a couple bites of your ice cream and sticks the freaking thing back in your McFlurry and sends it over to you. Because you could get anything Uber Eats, dude. So all this stuff is super exposed.
I don't order from these services, so this isn't something that's affected me. But I've been in restaurants that offer these services, and I think it's Bite Squad. They wear the green outfit. One of the things I've noticed about these folks, and I'm certainly no skinny guy, all of the drivers are very obese. They're definitely eating the food. I've noticed that.
Of course they are.
Have you even noticed that?
Do you know what it says?
But not every pizza guy was.
This is what it says on
That's why they're in porn.
On the Uber Eats delivery driver application, it says, do you have a license? Do you like free buffet food?
Right.
Your food is their buffet, people.
There's actually people don't know this, and if you ever are an Uber Eats driver, go look at what you signed up. In the very, very fine print, it says part of your tips, which we do not count and cannot quantify, is how much food you can steal from the customers.
Yeah, I mean, if you're an Uber Eats driver, they're not paying anything for food, right? They're like, well, I got gas, they drive this around, I'm a snack all day.
I fully believe
they're so happy when people order like their favorite foods. They're
yes.
like, Five Guys again, yes.
Oh my God, can you imagine like the one dickhead who's ordering the edamame?
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Nobody wants
that guy's 300 plus, man. And let me just end down to review. If you don't want your food fucked with, order sushi, edamame.
Vegetarian.
I'll give you a whole list of shit that won't get touched. Yeah. But if you're ordering Five Guys fries, and they give a lot, man, you'll never notice the dent.
I keep saying Five Guys fries because all my hungover friends Uber Eats Five Guys. That's like a go-to move for like drunk hungover people the next morning. It's like Uber Eats Five Guys. So when you get your Uber Eats Five Guys, everyone, and you pull out your little Cajun fry tin and it's only half full, you know what happened.
Oh my God! And again,
is that you know what though? Is that a small price to pay? Is a little nibbling off the top really worth getting off your fat ass, America? Think about it. You know, it's a deal you're making. It's a deal you're making with yourself.
It's
a
deal with.
It's a small price to pay.
You did it with sticky fingers.
You know what?
Devil.
This is what you do. Order an extra small fry on the side. Then when the delivery driver eats that, you still get your large fry.
That's a good idea. Or you order the small fry and you tell them in the notes, this is for the delivery driver to munch on when he's on his way. That fucker will get to your house in 5 minutes.
That's the move right there. That's how you can maybe avoid this.
Can you imagine you can grease people with fries? You know what I always found funny? How not only can you grease people with fries, but there's actually
I'm never ordering delivery again after this one. I'm never ordering delivery again.
There's actually a shirt. I saw it at Walmart, and then I had to validate it that it's a real thing. I saw it online. And it's a shirt that's geared to women, and it says fries before guys or fries over guys. And I'm thinking,
how
who
fucking
buys
American
that shirt?
is that? That's so goddamn American.
Who buys
fries
that?
Before guys. Oh, my God.
Even if you think that way, shouldn't you hide that in shame?
That's just terrible. It's just terrible, dude.
That tells you two things. Fries taste too good, McDonald's, Five Guys, and guys are dicks.
Let me clear that statement up for you. It's very simple. They're saying, I would rather be fat than have a boyfriend.
Yes.
That's what that's saying.
And usually, by the way, that shirt only came in XL or higher. There is no size small for that shirt. I looked because size small girls don't ever subscribe to that theory. Even as a joke. Like, is that even tongue-in-cheek for an anorexic
I love
girl?
French fries, but as a person that's had to have their gallbladder out recently, I've tried to curtail it back. So I only eat French fries like maybe once a week instead of before. I would be a person that ate French fries like every day. Like, I love me a good French fry.
Well,
they're really ketchup shovels. People don't realize that, but a French fry is actually just a ketchup shovel.
Yeah, especially if you get 3 fries like side by side.
Ketchup
Some
and
people
salt
can pick them
delivery
up
system.
side by side by side like a real scoop. Listen, when the potato is America's #1 vegetable, boy, you fucked up. We definitely love our fries. So there you go, folks. They're eating your food. There's all sorts of stats here talking about what pisses them off, how long people are willing to wait. At the end of the day, if your food isn't locked down, they can't take a slice of your pizza. You're obviously going to know that. But your fries are gone. Your Southwest egg roll is gone. Your edamame, you're going to be fine with that.
I think that the Uber Eats, too, if you're ever at a restaurant, you see that Uber Eats food just sitting around there waiting for that guy to pick it up. When you order delivery from a restaurant, the driver's sitting there. He's ready to go take the food. The Uber Eats driver has to go pick it up and then bring it there. I don't think it's the greatest service. I really don't. I don't think it's the greatest service.
I agree. I'm lost on why. Listen, I don't know if you know this. Uber Eats McDonald's only makes more money than all the other services that offer this, and there's like fucking 7 of them. So you're right, we are lazy as fuck because people will spend $5, $6, I think up to $7 as a delivery fee.
Imagine paying someone to drive your food longer than it took to make the food.
Right.
So
and
this guy nuked that shit for 30 seconds, and this guy's going to drive it across town for you for 20 minutes.
What
I mean,
a great
it's just
deal.
Insane.
I paid $7 more for it to arrive cold, have fingers run through it, and maybe some of it missing. And maybe that guy played with his balls before he ate your fries.
What is the best case scenario? That he picked up the food in a reasonable amount of time, let it sit on his random car seat, and then shoveled it over to your house and dropped it off on your porch? I mean, that's the best case scenario, and that still sucks.
I would think about that. We're going to go to break again. We got 10 more minutes. Is that clock right there, Jesse? So we got about 10 more minutes in the show. We'll see what we're going to hit on next. We're going to figure that out when we go to break. You're listening to Ruthless Politics.
Hey, make sure you check out Space Cowboy Justice with your hosts, Blake Stewart and Paul Daly. We're going to be talking about interesting legal issues in the entertainment industry and everything geek. If you're into Star Wars, Star Trek, Lord of the Rings, comic books, we're talking about it. Coming at you from the Space Coast Podcast Studios.
Ruthless Politics would like to thank all of our badass sponsors. SFL Media, media for the modern world. Check them out at sfl.media. Video God, the best viral video site online. Check them out at videogod.com. Pure Clear Hemp, premium CBD isolate. Check that out at pureclearhemp.com. And Tall Circuit Technology, home automation experts. Of course, our show's hosted by Space Coast Podcast, and a special thanks to them.
Smart people, because you got to be smart to even be listening to this show. No dummies allowed. Join me every week, Mr. Josh W. on the Mr. Josh W. podcast. You're going to hear me rant and rave about politics, current events, social media and SJWs, sports, cryptocurrency, sex, 420 and CBD culture. Hell, we can even talk about how your grandma won bingo 3 times yesterday. And good for her. She deserves it. She plays a lot. We'll even have interviews, panel discussions, and the occasional game show. Now you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube under Mr. Josh W. You spell that out, MisterJoshw. Very easy to find. And all this good stuff is coming to you live from the Space Coast Podcast Studios in sunny Florida. I like that. It's like a butterfly guitar. Wow, 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 wow. Wow, 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 wow. I went through a big alternative music phase. I grew up black on hip hop for many, many years, but when the 90s came, I was listening to the fucking Cure.
I like The Cure.
The Cure
Cure's
has some
good,
good
man.
shit.
Yeah.
I went through a lot of.
You know, if you just went through like a breakup.
Oh my God, they were so depressing. I actually had 2 gigantic posters from Uncle Sam's. It was a huge. If you remember, there was one in Miami Beach, and there was another one like in Oakland Park area. Huge alternative music store. And on one wall, I had a giant picture of Morrissey, who was like this asexual, gay Smiths lead singer, who I was so. I can't even begin to tell you. I seen in concert. I was like infatuated with the guy. Very bizarre. And on my other wall was Al Jorgensen of Ministry, literally singing into a microphone that had like bones of like an ox's head on it. You know what I mean? Like industrial, like, thieves, liars.
I never understood that kind of like scream heavy metal.
Oh my
like
God.
Rage Against the Machine is like as high. I love
Right.
Rage, but
They
after
were
that,
great.
heavy metal like for me just gets lost in the screams.
Well, they were like hip hop metal. He was like doing it in a rap style, so it was pretty cool. Folks, we have about 5-6 minutes left. We're going to talk to you about the CNN debates.
Debate
More
week.
debates.
Two debates this week. 2
Yes.
nights. So many damn candidates. We need 2 nights.
Tonight and tomorrow night. And
Double header.
It is a double header. It's what they call a 2-banger. And we talked about this a little bit on the last show. A couple new things have happened, so we're going to touch on. But let's just really quickly here go over who is going to be showing up tonight. Now, if you remember, tonight is not the big night. They're saved the big night for tomorrow night. But tonight you will get Montana Governor Steve Bullock, South Bend, Indiana Mayor Pete Buttigieg, former Maryland Representative John Delaney, former Colorado Governor John Hickenlooper, Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar, former Texas Representative Congressman Beto O'Rourke, Ohio Representative Tim Ryan, Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders, Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren, and that kooky gal author Marianne Williamson.
Okay, real quick on this one. As a liberal, as a progressive, this is our debates. I think that what's important to watch out for this first night here is that some of these Democrats on the stage are for a Medicare for all option, like a Bernie Sanders. Just want to give everybody Medicare, no insurance companies, none of that. And then other people like Elizabeth Warren want a public option where you would still have insurance companies and you could choose if you'd want to accept the Medicare for all. So I think that's an important thing that could happen this night. And then the other thing that I think is going to happen is Beto O'Rourke O'Rourke is probably going to be pushed out, so he's going to do something. He needs to make some sort of stand here, so he'll probably attack someone, come out with something bold, say something interesting. I don't know, but he's going to have to. Otherwise, bye-bye, Beto. So that's really the only thing I think you can really get out of this first round. The other thing, though, is we got our girl, what is Marianne Williamson? That's her, right? I love her. So she's going to say something totally bonkers, which I love. So please.
This is her moment to let everybody know to have your crystal and your
when you're into politics,
pocket.
This is all the comedy you get. This is as good as it gets. Marianne Williamson.
It's like you said. Why is this week? The only people of note are Buttigieg, Beto O'Rourke, Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren. So you got Bernie fading. You got Elizabeth rising. You got Buttigieg and Beto basically fighting for that last spot of like.
I think Buttigieg probably feels pretty secure making it to the next round. I think you have to have like 2% or something, and I think he has that. Well, I'm not sure. I'll have to look.
He is. He
probably just wants to dodge bullets and get to the next round.
Yeah, he doesn't have anything to lose or gain tonight. And you hit on a good point. And by the way, let's just go over really quick the second night. But before I do that, the point you just hit on was this really is going to thin out after tonight. So just so everybody understands, the first two of the 2 nights of debates, but there were 2 debates. So these first 2 had everybody. They are going to really tighten the noose on the qualifying for the next round of debates. And it looks like it could actually go from 20 to 10 and maybe even under 10 because some of these folks are meeting part of the qualification but not the other. And now they need an individual, at least $1 from at least 100,000 people. And that's where a lot of them are falling off. They got to be at 2%. Even de Blasio has made it to 2%, if you can believe that, but he's well short of getting the individual donors.
This is one of the things I actually think the Democrats have done right. So kudos to us for once, actually putting something together right, because I think the initial line of having all these candidates, 20 plus candidates or whatever it was, is great because it introduces all these Democrats. It lets people see the Democratic Party has a wide group of people that have tons of different views. So we're a big tent. So I think that was good. But now we really do need to thin the herd. So I think this is also a good move because what happens in these debates when there's too many people, they can't get into anything. I don't want to hear you speak for 30 seconds, man. You're going to be in charge of the country. I need to hear some policy ideas. I need to know what you're going to do and how you're going to do it.
That's going to be the most important thing is when this gets narrowed down, you won't have to hear some of the bullshit from these people, and you're going to actually see some dropouts. The actual dropping out will start once they're not even allowed on the debate stage anymore. Tomorrow night, the fireworks, folks, the fireworks. You're going to have Colorado Senator Michael Bennet, former Vice President Joe Biden, New Jersey Senator Cory Booker, former House and Urban Development Secretary Julian Castro, New York Mayor Bill de Blasio, Hawaii Representative Tulsi Gabbard, New York Senator Kirsten Gillibrand, California Senator Kamala Harris, Washington Governor Jay Inslee, and businessman Andrew Yang.
I think this is a crapshoot this night because, Biden says he wants to defend, but he also is in a place where he can't really attack, which we talked about last show. And then you have so many other upstarts in there with potential, people that have a little tiny bit of traction. I don't know who's going to start swinging at who. Cory Booker's got to do something because he might be out. So Cory Booker's got to come out with some sort of plan or action, or he's got to have a great night. And then you have a lot of other people in there like Tulsi and other people that have had good nights before. So this night right here could go crazy. What I hope is that the Democrats don't just start firing squad, just going after each other, and this becomes a mess. And it has a little bit of potential to do that. Don't do that, Democrats.
There is a school of thought that it has to get off the rails. Joe Biden has to do something now to save himself. He's in a free fall. How he attacks them, I don't know. That's going to be interesting to see. And if he does, it's going to be interesting also that there is a 2-on-1. We made a little joke about that. So now Cory Booker's not separated from Kamala Harris. They can collectively go at Biden and try to take him out and embarrass him. This is now a do or die situation for everyone involved. So you may have to really pull the ripcord on this because
it's a night to watch.
Biden can't lose.
It's a night to watch. Biden can't lose, and it's not just that he can't lose. He needs to be smart. He needs to be energetic. He needs to be concise. So Biden's own hurdles are really his own. Forget the people attacking him. He just needs to speak well, and that would be a victory for him. So if he could just come out with some energy, with some positive tones, avoid any pitfalls, that would be great. Personally, I don't know if he's got it left in him. I don't know. We will know everything we need to know about Joe Biden after this debate.
Yeah, well, that is absolutely true. Folks, another episode. We left some stuff on the table, and we're going to get around to it the next time. Tulsi Gabbard suing Google. We're going to be able to talk about that.
I think she's right about that, too.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
Google is so big that they don't even care about a presidential candidate like Tulsi Gabbard.
No, it also shows you that for some reason they have it in for certain people that they're just not going to promote, and they're not going to let you even know about them. And if that's how it goes, that's how it goes. They are controlling everything. Episode number 6, guys, Ruthless Politics. I'm Treez.
I'm Kid Chronic.
We'll see you for episode 7.
See you next time, folks.